Hi guys, I'm Matt Hetherington with TableTennis11.com, and today I'll be doing a review of the DHS 3-star plastic ball. For the review, we compared the DHS ball with a regular 3-star butterfly celluloid ball. And we started with a very simple bounce test, where you'll notice straight away that the bounce of the plastic ball, the peak is lower on every bounce. So as you can see here, the ball bounces a little bit lower. It's not so significant in a bounce test. Once you get out onto the table and start practicing with the ball, you can definitely tell the difference in the bounce between the two balls. So in the close table situations, the bounce was not that significant. Because of the hardness of the plastic ball, it definitely felt a lot heavier than the celluloid ball, and the ball was a little bit slower. The control felt quite good, and that's something which reoccurred during the drill, is that in any part of the review and the testing, the consistency and the comfort that you have with the plastic ball is definitely better than the celluloid ball. So we moved on to topspin. With the celluloid ball, there's so much more comfort in the mechanics of each shot, whereas with the plastic ball you have to generate a little bit more power, a little bit more spin from the legs, the core. You have to turn a little bit faster. Sometimes the ball is dropping quite low. You can see here my practice partner, the bounce is shorter on the table, the ball is arcing a lot lower. The trajectory off blocking is not anywhere near as high as with the celluloid ball. The main reason for that is that the plastic ball is a little bit firmer and slightly bigger, which definitely slows it down. So when I moved on to blocking, the celluloid ball, you definitely have room to put more pace on the ball. You definitely get a lot more spring through the ball. When you play with the plastic ball, it's very consistent. The margin of error is very low. Even when I moved on to adding topspin variation into my blocks, I definitely felt there was a lower chance that I would miss with the plastic ball than with the celluloid ball. And a lot of the times that I did miss, it wasn't because of the ball's properties itself. It was more the fact that I hadn't made the right adjustments to playing with the different ball. So you can see here as I move into slightly more topspin variation with the ball, it's very, very comfortable and it feels very consistent to use the plastic ball. One of the common misconceptions about the ball is you can't play big shots, you can't play with a lot of power. That's something that's not entirely accurate. And while it can be more difficult to hit winning shots in rallies, the differences between the ball are not ones that we're not going to get used to. So the more you practice with it, the more you will learn how to add more weight transfer into the ball, how to make your strokes more efficient with the slower properties of the ball. You can see there a couple of times I got caught off guard with the lower bounce. So one of the things that has been said about the ball is that it will be better for defensive players. And I found when I was playing against somebody who was chopping, I definitely had to give a little bit more bite into my shot to get the amount of topspin that I needed to get the ball over. And on a separate occasion, I did play against someone who had long pips on their backhand, and the amount of control that they had was definitely a lot higher, and it was more difficult to hit through them. So we moved on to short game, which is a very, very important part of the game. The plastic ball was a lot harder to keep low to the net, but once we made the necessary adjustments, even though we weren't able to impart that much spin on the ball, sometimes it did feel a little bit like we were floating the ball over the net. We were able to take the ball a little bit earlier, give the ball a little bit more nudge to get it over the net, and change the angles a little bit so we could keep that ball lower. In terms of service, I felt quite comfortable returning serve. It's still possible to get high amounts of spin on the serve. While not as quite as high as the celluloid ball, you can still get good service. So in these point scenarios, the opening balls were quite consistent. I was still able to make some powerful shots. I did get caught out back from the table quite a few times, mainly because of the bounce. So there are a few things that you need to get used to with the new ball. Mainly the distance that you play from the table. The ball does bounce lower. It is better to be closer to the table than further back. You have to try and make each technique as efficient as you can to maximize the amount of spin you can get on the ball. You really have to work on getting as much contact on the ball as you can so that you can try and generate as much spin as possible. And of course you need to use more power from your legs and your core when you're playing the powerful shots.